welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my client transformations, my client Corey, how we took him from 180 pounds to 155, super lean and muscular. Now, we're also going to talk about how he is eating an additional 1,200 calories from where he was when he finished his diet and maintained his body weight while doing so. Okay. And essentially, we're going to talk about the dieting process and then the reverse dieting process once he finished his actual diet. Okay. So let's talk about the steps. So the first thing we have to do is cut. Okay. So this is not the starting baseline as to the cut. This is the finishing product of the cut, 1,850 calories. This is where we started the rebound, but phase one was the cut, and this is actually where we ended at 165 grams of protein, 185 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fat. We started somewhere around the 2,500 calorie range, and over about a 4-month span, we took him down from 2,500 calories to 1,850. His starting body weight was around 181 pounds and finished at 154 pounds. So we took our time doing so. That's 25 pounds over 4 months, about 16 weeks. On average, that's roughly 1.5 pounds per week. Now, of course, at first, it was a little bit more, like a few pounds a week. And then by the end, it was a little bit less. And during those 4 months, we had some hiccups where, we didn't adhere to the diet perfectly. So we didn't lose any weight. But on average, it was around 1.5s. And I do want to give Corey a ton of credit because most of the time he was pretty spot on. And we actually had cheat meals planned in during the cut once a week. Those did eventually get eliminated towards the end because we wanted to finish up that dieting phase. However, for a majority of it, it was in there and he was able to utilize them and still see great progress. The way he trained, which was really cool, 4 times a week. Okay. 4 times a week. And I think we had, maybe one extra day of cardio. We did have cardio on those 4 days, but low intensity, like 20, 30 minutes. And we trained upper lower. And, he was in the gym for about 60 minutes a day. He works a lot. He's a personal trainer. He's a coach. So he's on his feet quite a bit. He says step count can get pretty high, somewhere between that on average 10 to 15K. And he pushed those steps as he continued on with the diet. But overall, like, it was a very smooth process for us because of his level of adherence. Now, I will say towards the end, he was certainly struggling, as you should be towards the end of the cut. You should be struggling because your body is begging for more food and you have to resist it. But this is what is necessary to get to that low of a body fat percentage. Now, the picture you see here, this is not what he looked like at the end. This is what he currently looks like eating additional 1,200 calories. At the end, he was definitely fairly lean, but he was not nearly as muscular. And he's actually leaner now while eating more food, which is even cooler. Maybe I'll get some transformation pics for you guys from the end of the diet to the start of the, to where he is now at the end of this reverse. But insane. So biggest thing, okay, after we finished that diet, what we needed to do was now increase calories. It's going to be the reverse dieting phase, okay? So the metabolic reset is what we can call it. And we're trying to upregulate the metabolism, right? The metabolism is how many calories you need to eat to maintain your body weight, essentially, right? And what I wanted to do was keep him at the same level of leanness while increasing his calories, right? Knowing that if he can increase his calories, he's going to increase his performance. If he increases his performance, he's then going to put on muscle. And if we don't put on fat, we can just guarantee that if he does gain any weight whatsoever, it's going to be muscle, right? And if we can maintain the same body weight, increase performance while increasing food, there is almost no doubt that we are building muscle and losing fat simultaneously, which sounds crazy at the end of a diet, but it absolutely happened. Okay, so how did we exactly do this? So we were around 1,800 calories, right? I simply added an additional 50 grams of carbs per day. 50, nothing. Okay, that is nothing. You are still in a deficit when I added those 50 extra carbs. So we gave him more food, but he was still in a deficit. Okay, because when we finished the diet, we were in a deficit, right? We were probably in a close to a 500 calorie deficit. I gave him an additional 50 grams of carbohydrates. Okay, that means an extra 200 calories per day. So if he was in a 500 calorie deficit, now we brought him to a 300 calorie deficit. Okay, after week 1, okay, he's maintained weight. Okay, great. Check the box. Increase food again. Another 50 grams of carbohydrates. Check the box. Amazing. He had a cheat meal. Okay. He had a cheat meal. Weight went up a little bit, but nothing crazy, like a half a pound. I kept diet the same. The day after our check-in, which was Monday, Tuesday, he lost weight. So what did I do? I increased another 50 grams of carbs week 3. Okay. So now we were up an additional 150 grams of carbohydrates. Okay. 3 weeks into this thing. What we were able to do from there is we would hold that weight for a couple weeks. Okay, I increased protein a little bit, increased fat a little bit. All right. And ultimately, he was able to maintain weight while continually eating more food. So we started, like I said, right here, 1,850 calories, 165, 185, 50. He is currently at 420 grams of carbs, 60 grams of fat, 190 grams of protein. Okay. Did not gain any weight. He's 30 pounds lighter than when he started the diet, eating 1,200 more calories and having a weekly cheat meal, which is typically for him like a burger and fries. He might go get pancakes and an omelet, whatever it might be. So he's actually eating more than this on average when you factor in that cheat meal. Now, why did I mainly increase the carbohydrates? Why is the fat still low and why is there just a little bit more protein? Well, carbohydrates are going to be our main source of energy when we are performing weight training. So I wanted to ensure that the calories that I was going to give him was going to be utilized in a way that would, once again, enhance performance. So we put carbohydrates, a lot of them around the workout window. He was able to utilize that food and then take that additional food to utilize it as recovery, which once again is going to yield muscle growth during this time. So that is why we kept increasing the carbohydrates more and more and more. Now, also, carbohydrates are less likely to turn to fat than fat because of the way they're processed, broken down, eaten. Okay. Carbohydrates are more likely to be stored inside the muscle or be used as energy than if you have fat. Okay. So if I kept adding fat, he could easily just be putting on fat. So that's why there's only a 10-gram difference. In terms of protein, the protein was already higher than his body weight. So I didn't feel like we really needed to increase too much. Right now, he's at like 1.1 or 1.2 times his body weight in grams of protein, which I think is a pretty optimal range, especially since he's natural. And so that's that right there. I did increase that a little bit when there were some weeks where I was like, I don't know if I want to give him more carbs yet. So I'm just going to give him a little more protein, knowing protein's definitely not going to turn to fat. And so I would do that. And man, he just executed it so well. It was obscene. Like I was just blown away by how his body has responded during this time. And I'm super proud of him. And it was such a cool science experiment because you'll never find this in a textbook. No textbook will tell you that this is actually possible. And that's why you have to hire a coach who has actually done this before. They haven't just read the textbook, because I've seen this work on myself. I've seen this work on multiple clients. And so I know it's possible. Okay. A lot of people, when they finish up a diet, they keep their calories super low. So they're feeling starving. Their energy is low. They don't feel good. And that's just a recipe for someone to just start gaining weight rapidly again and get fat. So I knew I had to take advantage of that moment, get this guy to be able to eat more food, get his energy up, get his performance up, get him feeling good. And now he gets to eat 3,000 calories a day and maintain 155 pounds, right? Now, the next goal for us is to go into a lean bulk, which I'm really excited about. And we're going to go and crush that thing. But think about this. His current maintenance calories are 3,000. So now he gets to go eat 3,500 calories and start gaining weight, right? Imagine, his maintenance calories were at 2,200. He'd only be eating like 2,600 calories a day to try to gain weight, which isn't even like fun. You still feel hungry, right? And we don't want to feel super hungry. Some hunger is good, but not that much. Okay. So this is pretty much how the whole system went. If you guys have any questions on anything, please leave a comment below, or you could obviously hit me up at TommyPomaticoFitness@gmail.com or Instagram, Tommy_Pomatico. If you guys would like any coaching, you can reach out to me there. Hope this video was helpful. Until next time, guys, see you later.